Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Clutch Report. Today we have a special guest, an Australian fan as we preview the Ashes, and also a friend of Mr. Rohit Suresh.
Welcome to the pod, Mr. Gaurav. Gaurav, Shiv, just context for you and the viewers. Gaurav is a cricket analyst, worked with Sunrisers, Eastern Cape and Sunrisers Hyderabad. Was fortunate enough to lift the title twice with him in the SA20 and almost lift the title in the IPL. But yes, more than anything else, he's a very dear friend of mine, and it's a pleasure to have you here, Gaurav. How are you today?
Very good, Rohit. Thanks for having me. Excited that the Ashes is starting tomorrow. Can't wait to watch that and hopefully Australia can thrash England again.
No, I love God. I love how you're just getting right into it. And obviously, last time out in Australia, Australia smacked them 4-0. Could have been final, but obviously England got that draw, which obviously salvaged some pride in the end. What do you think is going to happen this year?
So I think this year, for the change, there's a lot of hype on England. I think there's a lot of hype about England, Bazball, and the fact that they're doing well and they're well settled unit compared to Australia. For the change, I think Australia are not that well settled. They're handing over two debut caps tomorrow, and they don't have Hazelwood and Pat Cummins. So and there's a lot of banter about the top three. If you remember, I think Stuart Broad also said somewhere it's the weakest Australian team to have ever
Mhm.
played the Ashes and stuff. So I think there's a lot of banter. There's a lot of positivity about England. Having said that, I just tweeted a stat today. Like when the last 40 years, England have won 4 tests that really mattered in Australia. So we
Yeah.
call it
Wow.
rivalry. We call it a lot of things. But I think they have never to win 3 tests is not easy. You can win one, you can win two. We saw how much India had to like struggle and they managed to win two. But winning three is going to be a bit of a challenge. Having said that, they've done it before in 2010 and they will back themselves to do it. I think how the Ashes starts, I think the Perth test is kind of going to set the tone because the first test is important. Without Hazelwood and Cummins, England may want to quickly get up, one up, and then, the cracks might fall.
Yeah. As you mentioned, like they have a couple of debutants this time, the Aussie team, with Jack Weatherald and Brendan Doggett. Have, what can you tell us about these two? Because, I mean, it's a big hole to fill, right?
Absolutely. But one thing with Australia, they don't just hand over too many debutants very early, like at 19, 20. They make sure they give caps to tried and tested people who have done the hard yards in Shield cricket and stuff. So if you look, both of them are have that experience. I think both are in their 30s, very, very experienced in terms of Shield cricket. Um, and also they're form players. So I think Australia are kind of looking at it in that angle. I honestly thought or I preferred if a Bew Webster would have continued to play because he played some really clutch knocks and it's very unlike Australia to kind of drop someone who's actually bailed them out on a couple of good occasions. He's had a great start. But I can understand why they're doing that. They want to give Manas the best chance of success. If Bew plays, then Manas has to open, and I
Yeah.
think they're just a bit wary, and they know that their batting is their weaker streak. So I think that's why they are going with that. But both of them are exciting players. Doggett has been in the wings for quite some time. He has pace, and I expect him to generally give good support to Boland and Stark. I don't think I'm not so fussed about Doggett, but with respect to uh, Weatherall is going to be a bit of a challenge. Opening against Archer and whoever they put out, that's going to be hard. But let's see.
Yeah. I
Look,
think both sets of openers have sort of, I mean, there's question marks around Usman also. He's not been in the best of form. And even on the English side, Zach Crawley seems to get to 20 and 30, but never gets beyond that. Duckett out of the four probably looks like the most settled opener. But yeah, I wanted to know, like, will the opening spot sort of set the tone with both teams?
I agree. And I was hearing one of the, I think the Great Cricketer podcast with George Bailey, I think, or one of the podcasts. And one problem they wanted to solve is actually they didn't want Manas and Uzi to open because they
Mhm.
felt that both are playing at a very similar tempo. They bought in Jack, I think, to be like, slightly more quicker, score those boundaries, something like Warner, what Warner used to do
Yeah.
for Australia. Maybe not at that level yet, but I think they wanted some players to have some intent. They didn't. That's why they tried with Sam Constas, but it didn't kind of go through. So it's very interesting to see how that pans out. Whether they're trying to be off the blocks quickly, be like 40 for no loss in 6 overs, and they're happy to lose a wicket then, or they want to grind it out. So I think that's going to define how the Aussie openers go. I think Uzi is going to play his own way. And there's a lot of bets going on about whether Uzi will have a new partner by the third or fourth test, or whether Jack
Mm.
will have a new partner by the
Yeah.
third or fourth test. So you never know how it is. Perth is generally good for batting as well. We saw that with Jaiswal and Rahul last time. They had a mammoth 200 run stand, if I remember, in the second inning. So, yes, you're absolutely right. I think openers are going to set. I would say top three is going to set the tone. But England's batting and batting depth is far more superior than Australia, if you ask me. So I think even if England failed, I think the batting depth would pull them through. I am a bit worried that about Australia. But I would say Australia's bowlers might be slightly ahead of England bowlers. But I think the batting is kind of going to decide. And to answer your question, yeah, the top order at this point in time, I think England look far more settled.
No, I think also about Khawaja, I think he's had 5 different opening partners since Warner has retired. So that's, again, it's going to be a food for thought for this year's Ashes if Khawaja has another partner coming in the fourth test of Jack gets his new partner. But also about Ben Doggett, I just read this great stat that, he's the first bowler since 2021 to make a test debut for Australia. And the person who made the debut in 2021 was Scott Boland. And another interesting thing is that he's only the third cricketer with indigenous heritage to play Test cricket for Australia. So it's nice, and it's nice to have two indigenous heritage, this Boland and Doggett, to play for Australia.
How much time you had to research on this, Rohit, to get so much of accurate
Catman
information?
Rohit.
Thanks to this segment is sponsored by ChatGPT.
Believe me, Gaurav, I was so excited to do this episode. I was like, listen, I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to go to work, and I'm not going to work. I'm going to research about the Ashes. And I think I've done a pretty good job. What do you think, Gaurav and Shiv?
You've done an outstanding job. Like I could see like you preparing for this exam and you just like perfectly on the dot reading out stuff. Well done. Kudos to your research and effort. But I think,
Thank you.
yeah, this is something which is very, very rare. I think since 2010 or 11 was the first time Australia had two debutants in the same test match. So it is something which is uncharted for Australia. But like I said, generally they hand over debutants after some good experience. Sam Constas is like a big, big experiment, is an outlier. They generally don't give 19-year-olds a chance to kind of do something. He did his job for what it's worth against Jasprit Bumrah, but I think they've gone back to the Titan test. Let's see how things go. Hopefully they give them both a decent run. I don't think Doggett is going to get too long a run if Pat is back for Gabba. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty exciting for them.
Yeah. Moving from like the Australian bowling lineup to the English bowling lineup, I know Australia's come out with their team, but do you see England going in with 4 frontline seamers tomorrow, or do you see them playing Shoaib Bashir?
It's a very good question. So, if interestingly, Nathan Lyon's record at Perth is really good at the new stadium. So, would you get influenced by that, or
Hmm.
would you want to back your strengths? Is the call that Baz has to take. Um, I think I would go towards having an all-pace attack. I don't think. I think Bashir will come into play in other venues. But I think for this venue, I think your initial test match, you want to back your strength, get your 4 best bowlers, and you can't suddenly expect Bashir to do what Nathan does for Australia. So if I was part of that think tank, I would go with an all-pace attack.
Yeah, and it's also about managing their fitness. As much as they're all fit right now, Mark Wood and Jofra Archer always have sort of question marks on their back. So
That's true, but one thing, Shiv, I think you will want to kind of take the ascendancy in the test series. It's a long test series. You don't want to wait till the 5th test and then Maybe if the series is over, that time you play him or you don't play them, it doesn't matter. I think I would play both of them in the first two tests and then take a call and see what happens.
Yeah.
No, no, also another thing, like you mentioned, Gaurav, this is the best chance for England also to like go one up in the series because you don't have Cummins, you don't have Hazelwood, and you have two debutants coming in there. And obviously, we all say that the Ashes is obviously the oldest ever tournament in the history of cricket. So I think, like you mentioned, I think England should play to their strengths, and this is like the perfect opportunity for them to get that 1-0 lead and go into the next test, which is after like 14 days, where they play a friendly with President's 11 for a 2-day and then go into Gaba. So it's going to be very interesting to see how England do this. But also, I'd like your thoughts on England's middle order because, we have Stokesy, we have Brook there. Brook's also in fantastic form. Do you think the England middle order edges the Australian middle order a little bit?
Before that, are you an England supporter or Aussie supporter? Who do you think is going to?
Uh, I'm going to support England, mate, because you support Australia.
What, what about Shiv?
I'm an India fan through and through. I'm going to sit on the fence. No, but
So,
I think I slightly lean towards the Aussies, but I just think this series is England's best shot, to be honest. And I wouldn't mind seeing them do something, at least win a couple of test matches. It's been so one-sided in Australia, so I'm hoping for at least a competitive series.
So we ran a interesting story. So I'm part of a hardcore cricket group, a WhatsApp group, and we ran a poll because most people are obviously 99% India fans. So I wanted to know people hate England more or people hate Australia more. So I ran a poll asking them like, who do you want to win the series? Is it England or Australia? I was actually very surprised that out of 12 people in that group, and trust me, these are hardcore. It's like your
Hmm.
hardcore Liverpool football gang, right? You know that knowledge is
Yeah.
high. So 11 people voted for they want to see Australia win. So I don't know why. Usually Australia is a team which is more hated by the Indian fans, but maybe I don't know. A lot of people don't subscribe to Bazball or whatever. But that was an interesting general nugget I wanted to share. So you
Some
guys are
colonial
kind of
hangover,
even,
I think.
maybe. So with respect to middle order, Rohit, I think I would, it's a tough one, but I would give Australia a slight edge because of pure experience, having Smith,
Mhm.
Head, Green, and Carey. Whereas in England, you have Brook, who we don't know which Brook is going to turn up. It's his first proper tour
Super.
of Australia. It's not going to be easy doing this, right? So, that's going to be kind of interesting to see. And then Stokes, Jamie Smith's also coming up for the first time. So I would tip Australia in that regard.
And what about
Also,
the main
go
man,
on.
Joe Root? Still hasn't got 100 in Australia yet. Do you see that happening this time around?
So it's a very tough question to ask because if he doesn't get 100, I think social media will go crazy for obvious reasons because one Mr. Matthew Hayden has promised something that he's going to do uh, if Joe Root doesn't score a century, but I think he will. These great cricketers, if you actually look at, I'm sure it works in football or any other sport, there are some stories which are written, right? And every great cricketer has to tick off like Kohli was waiting to break Sachin's record of centuries. Sachin was waiting for his 100th century, winning the World Cup after so many years. Small things play out for themselves, right? Even like Goran Ivanisevic winning as wild card when he had to win the Wimbledon. Those are
Yeah.
sports makes those stories. I believe a big time in those stories. So I think Roots, the only thing left for him as a cricketer, I think, to achieve is tick off this box and win an Ashes in Australia and tick off that century. So I see both, if not both, at least one happening.
Also, one more thing about Joe Root, Mr. Gaurav. Do you think if we go with a four, if England play their four pacemen, do you think he'll be that spinner if England need to use?
100%. I think he will come in and bowl, but they would hope that they don't have to use him. If they're really using him, that means either they've missed the pitch or they're in really in a tough situation. So that's what I think they will do. I'm also pretty curious to see how the pitch plays, whether Australia are going to kind of uh, always these. If you saw the recent India South Africa series, also the talking point becomes the pitch, and
Hmm.
Australia. I think last 2 or 3. I think since 2020 when South Africa came, I think the pitches have been very hard for batting. It's not a very easy place to bat like what people claim. Even the India series, you have to really fight hard for your runs, and it's a pretty relentless attack. So I'm very curious to see how the pitch plays. They already, I read some articles of green monster, green mamba, and all, but I'm not too sure whether all that is true. Sometimes I think it's overhyped. Uh, so I'm very curious to see how that happens. If you remember the last Ashes, the first ball there was a wicket, Mitchell Stark to Rory Burns. That was
Sorry,
pretty
ones.
amazing, right? I wonder first balls in Ashes tours have been pretty iconic. So I'm very curious to see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah. Regarding the pitches, I have a sort of general question as since you're an analyst, I just wanted to ask you, like, do you generally think the quality of batting has come down? People are not able to stick out at pitches, or do you think the pitches have generally got tougher over the years and that's why we're seeing lower scores, 2, 3 day test matches?
I think you're absolutely right. I think your first point is what I kind of think that's how it is. People are training for franchise cricket. People are losing patience. I'm sure Rohit would have seen so many numerous practice sessions of range hitting where people just come and smash sixes. Somehow your subconscious mind uh, gets a bit jittery if you don't score a boundary, maybe every 10
Hmm.
balls or something in Test cricket, and you try to play that shot. I think that is the biggest change. I think I've discussed this with a lot of players and coaches. Um, Ability to hold yourself, that self control to not score a boundary and maybe fight it out for those 20, 25 balls without scoring a run, right?
The
I think
Rahul
it was
Dravid book of cricket.
I was about to say that once David, I think, didn't score his first run for what, 50, 60 balls or something, and then he raised his
Yeah.
bat.
And then the
So
crowd went berserk.
I don't think you'll see that. You'll rather see 50 of 20 balls nowadays. If people are
Yeah.
happy to do that and get out. So I think it's the urge to score that boundary shift. I feel that is where players are lacking. It's not about skill or temperament. I think the mind immediately is so tuned to franchise cricket and that hitting that odd boundary, you feel like that's the best option. I want to go after the ball, relieve the pressure, and then one ball just takes the nick and you're caught. So, yes, I think batsmanship and patience have reduced.
Also, that brings me to my next question, Gaurav. Obviously, you've been in the dugout, but and obviously with
So have
the with
you,
T,
but
so have
not,
I. Obviously,
but a non-match.
yeah, I'm right. I'm right behind. I'm right behind you on the match day though, because I can keep seeing you.
The dugout doesn't exist if you're not, if you don't do your job. Remember that.
Thanks, Gaurav. But again, obviously you've been in the dugout during match days, and with the advent of T20 just taking over the cricketing world, don't you feel like sports psychology is of paramount importance for cricketers also who are trying to play in Test cricket? Because like you mentioned before, like it's all in the mind, right? And if you're 10 balls, 0 runs, if it's a Rishabh Pant will go for a six 9 times out of 10, right? So what are your thoughts on that? Because obviously the IPL is a 2 month tournament or a 3 month tournament, and people don't really value a sports psychologist there. But in the grand scheme of things, do you think it's important that we approach this? Because I see football teams doing it and I see rugby teams doing it, but I don't really see cricket teams getting into that zone as of now.
I'm a big, I vouch big time for that, Rohit. I think it has to be there. I'm also, that's one more subject which I'm very interested in, having dealt with so many players, the way you talk to them, when you talk to them, all those things matter a lot. And I think with the kind of, like you said, various formats, adapting, so much travel, so much social media attention, 100% everybody, every team has to invest. And I think to be fair, a lot of teams are doing it. I think Australia have sessions like these. I'm sure England has. I'm sure a lot of franchise teams also have. If I remember right, I think RCB, Rajasthan Royals, all these teams have that. So I think it's matter of time before people realize it. Maybe not every player will like it or every player will use it, but I think it's absolutely necessary, especially in such long tours in Australia where the crowd can get hostile. If you're losing, how do you stay united? How do you come back if you're 2-0 down? Right? It matters a lot. So, yeah, I think it'd be really good to have quality psychologists doing this job.
Talking about someone who's probably very good psychologically is Australia's main man, Steve Smith. Do you think a lot of their entire sort of the responsibility falls on him in a sense? Like if he scores runs, Australia will have a good series?
I think so, Shiv. I think you're spot on because the top three is a bit iffy. I think Manas and Steve Smith kind of, uh, I think those two are going to play a very important role. And I'm very curious to see how Travis comes out. He's been in a pretty low, in a lot of form, if I can call it, all formats, just coming in, trying to hit those 2, 3 boundaries, and he's gotten out. So I think he's going to continue playing the same way. But I think he might be in a bit of pressure 3 tests from now is what I think the way he's setting up, the way he's playing. I feel he's going to be in a bit of a spot of bother if he doesn't get going. For I think he's a very rhythm player. He was the man of the series last Ashes. He was outstanding. He scored some really tough centuries in Brisbane, and he scored one against India also last year in a tough situation. So I expect him, if he has a good start, then England are in for some trouble. But if he keeps getting out, then it becomes a bit of an easy way for path for England to get into the tail. You must realize that they don't have Pat Cummins and Josh Hazelwood, but Pat Cummins with the bat has played some amazing cameos. So
Yeah.
you and I was looking at Dodgett's average. I think he averages 10 or something like that. And I don't think I think his highest score is 49 once. So and Boland and Nathan Lyon and not the best
Yeah.
with the bat. So uh, you don't be surprised if you see Australia kind of get bundled out for some really low scores also. I think that can very much happen.
Yeah. I think we saw that against India last year. There were a lot of like scores under 250, under 200 even. That's why someone like an Alex Carey also becomes like really important for them, right?
Yeah, he is. And um, again, extreme pace is something which bothers them. Wood has got the wood over Australia quite a lot of times. So uh, yeah, I expect the quicks to trouble England, but let's see if the quicks can survive those 2, 3 tests. So that's going to be the key.
I have another question for you, Gaurav. Obviously, you're an analyst, and there's a lot being said about Bazball per se, right? So, if you say, for example, if you were the analyst of Australia, like how would you prepare for someone trying to emulate Bazball? Because obviously, back when you go back into the dugout, when you have like chats with these players, you'll obviously have like a plan of action with respect to what line or length to bowl. Just from your mind, I just want to pick your brain with respect to what do you reckon would be, I wouldn't say the optimum plan, but what would be your train of thought when it comes to say just the baseball from your mind?
I think that's the way they're going to play. I think baseball also gives a room to a lot of chances. I think they're going to be giving a lot of chances. I would say that I think Australia did a good job in England. They call it in-out fields. I think you have to have two boundary riders and then you have most fielders in attacking positions. I think that's kind of worked for Australia. Even when they come to India, they used to do that. That used to be one of the strategies to beat India. And India have in-out fields, cut the boundaries, and automatically there would be some pressure. So I think I would continue doing that, and then allow the pitch to do its thing. Right? If you lose 2, 3 wickets early, maybe they'll play differently. That fear of failure could be there. So I would say that having in-out fields, having sometimes be on a defensive, make sure that the scoring rate is reduced a little bit. That's something Australia have done really well in Australia. I'm very curious to see if England get off the blocks quickly, and if England are like 80 for no loss in 12 overs tomorrow in the morning of day one, then Australia are in for some trouble. So I would actually start off with having in-out fields and then seeing how things go.
Yeah. And with the pitch, like generally, like in the baseball era, I think England like to chase. But do you think Australia will be happy batting first, or what do you think, or what are the early impressions of the pitch?
Yeah, I think Australia will be happy batting first. Pitch gets better on day 3 and day 4, as we saw last time against India. Uh, but I would always want to bat first, Shiv, unless the conditions are extremely overcast and very in Perth. Generally, you don't get too much of rain. I heard there is some forecast for rain, but Perth usually is pretty clear. So I would always want to bat first, put a score, and allow England to chase down whatever they have to. If you remember, they did have the same Bazball did come to India. They did bat fourth quite a lot of times, and they didn't really do well. So I don't think it's the same chasing in the fourth innings in India. Sorry, in England as well, in Australia is very different.
Also, Gaurav, if I had a question for you, your combined Ashes 11. If you're down for it, let's do it. I think
All
obviously you're
time
an
or with respect to this tournament?
with
This
respect to
series,
this tournament.
yeah. All time. If you want to do all time, then there'll be a lot of debate. I think there's a lot of players. I think it'll definitely be an Aussie, a strong. I mean, more Aussie players, but I
Yeah,
think
it
this
could
one
be
makes it
maybe an
more
Aussie
even.
11 rather.
I watched Ricky Ponting and Stuart Broad do this, and I was so surprised how many players Ricky let Stuart Broad have. But I think let's stick to these current squads. So yeah,
Sure.
openers. Who would you pick?
I think surely Duckett goes there for me. And I think I would go with Uzi, surely for the experience and the fact that he has done it in Ashes cricket quite some time. And he looks like a good partner fit to have with Duckett.
Yeah,
I think
And then one
Rohit
down.
wants Weatherall. I'm not sure if Rohit will.
No, I
Bit
thought
too
I'll
early
take
for that one.
I'll take my boy Sam. I want Sam to do the scoop. It'll be good. The one
Um,
down.
I think Manas, he
Okay.
pips over Pope.
Over Pope, yeah.
Yeah, then I will have a Root and a Smith, obviously. Let them play rock, paper, scissors and figure out who's batting at number 4.
Okay.
Then I'll go with Stokes at 6.
Okay.
Keeper, we don't have much of a choice. I think we have to go with
Yeah.
Carey.
Alex,
Smith just
I have to
never
go with
played
Carey.
a game. And then I would go with Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood and Lang.
Why?
Come on, guys. It's
No,
obvious.
no, it's obvious. You can't beat that. You can't beat
Unless
that.
Rohit wants some Sunrisers influence and goes for Bryden Cars or something
Cuz
like that.
I think that you can make arguments for maybe Mark Wood or Jofra Archer, but I guess the injury record keeps them away. But I mean,
100%.
I think.
Let's argue. I think Archer has better hair. Archer's hair is nice.
Hey,
I think
I'm
Archer's
sure you
hearing.
remember. I'm
Change.
sure you remember that Jofra Archer versus Steve Smith spell. So I mean, there is an
No,
argument for
100%.
Jofra. It's just not
Just
that
kidding.
longevity is in there. Yeah.
Yeah, just kidding. I think Archer is obviously amazing, but you can't just compare to these 4. I think Hazelwood is 5 wickets away from 300, and then you'll have 4 guys about 300 wickets. So I don't see any attack having that. Yeah, but if at all somebody gives them a fight, I think that will be Archer.
Yeah. So I think Wood and Archer both. I don't know how fit Wood will be. I
Yeah.
think those two will
Let's give them
probably be the
12th man.
spearheads.
12th man.
12th man.
Gaurav, just because of Archer, see what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a chain for Archer.
Nice.
Anything for my man Archer.
Nice.
But yeah, I think that's a pretty good
interestingly,
11.
guys, I think there's so much talk about these bowlers, but I think Gus Atkinson and Bryden Cars, I think are actually going to be the more, I feel underrated. I think Australia might take them easily. I think more towards Gus Atkinson. I believe that he is someone who can actually hit the seam. He can do what Boland does for Australia. So don't be surprised if Atkinson is the guy. When all the focus is on Archer and Wood, I think Atkinson might be the guy fit to actually help England win a couple of test matches.
Yeah. And one thing with the Aussie bowlers, do you see them using the short ball a lot, especially against batsmen like Brook?
100%. I think it is. And I think that will be more relevant once Cummins and Hazelwood come. I think with respect to Stark, he'll continue to do that. But Boland, I'm not so sure if he has to revert to that strategy.
Yeah, I think in the last series, the Englishmen were really attacking Boland, and now Boland will sort of, co-spearing head that attack. So I want to see if they continue to take him on or sort of have a more defensive approach.
Yeah, absolutely. Rohit, one more question I had for you. Based on your turf cricket exploits of bowling, what advice do you have for Scott Boland?
No, I think Scott Bullen should just do what he is doing. His fourth stump line is beautiful. I've been following that fourth stump line a lot, and thanks to him, my turf cricket form has also improved really well. I played 5 games and I've taken 14 wickets. I think that's not bad for
Just
someone.
checking your profile on Cricinfo. Let me quickly check.
5 games, 14 wickets.
Wow.
I
Is
want
the
to say,
keeper moving the stumps or something, and then you're bowling at that line?
Are you
I want to say,
registering yourself for the auction?
no, I've decided against it. I just thought, I'm okay to play turf cricket. I don't want myself to be on camera or broadcast. I just don't see myself doing that anymore.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
Sunrisers have let go of Mohammad Shami, so there's a space open there.
Nice.
Nice. Thanks, Shiv. Appreciate it, Shiv. We
Rohit's
can
left,
crack these.
Rohit's left that question outside off stump.
We can crack these jokes after. We can crack these jokes after Wednesday, guys. Come on.
Okay. But
Edit. AI, please edit.
Don't worry.
Riverside, take care of Rohit, please. But
Oh, jeez.
yeah, moving on from Rohit's beautiful stat of 14 wickets in 5 games, let's do some quick predictions. First, series score. I want all of our predictions. So, Gaurav, first with you.
3-1 Australia.
Okay. So, England will win a test match.
Sure. I think it could be Perth. Who knows?
Rohit?
I'm going with a juicy 2-all.
5-0 England.
2-all.
That's not juicy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 2-all is. I just feel like there'll be a result in every game. And I want to say England will pip, but I just don't see them doing it in Australia. So I think I'm going to go 3-2 Australia.
That's a nice one. I think 3-2 is fair. I just feel like always there's some rain in Brisbane or Sydney and it gets washed out. Yeah.
Also, I'm an ex-Australia boy, so I know the weather's a little awkward there, especially in Melbourne. It's very bipolar, but obviously it's summer now, so the Boxing Day test will be fine. But I think Gabba, Brisbane, and even Perth, for example, there might just be random showers coming in.
Have you been to any tests there, Rohit, when you were there?
I've gone for a great game actually. I went for the India-Australia game in MCG, not a test match. I went for a T20 game. There's this funny video of me shouting at Rohit Sharma because Rohit Sharma is fielding and log off. I was like, Rohit! Rohit turned back and he's looked forward and the ball goes for a 4 on his side. It is hilarious. I'm gonna clip that video here so that you guys can see it. It is so
we'll put
funny.
it on the show notes and stuff.
After that, you should have screamed, "Garden mein nahi ghumne ka."
After that,
I don't think Rohit understands Hindi, Shiv. I don't think he got your joke.
Gaurav, my Hindi is very good. I also know who he said it to. He told this to Sarfaraz Khan, who's is in the short leg position.
Thanks, ChatGPT again.
Shiv, I love this roasting session of Rohit today.
Shiv, I'll give you some context, okay? So when the IPL is going on, I never watch any game. I'll give him a call. Tell me what happened. So he will tell me.
So Gaurav is your ChatGPT, basically.
Basically, I'll ask Gaurav, so how did he play? How did he get out? So Gaurav will give me a detailed explanation. The ball was outside off stump. He goes for the shot, edge out. And in the next 5 minutes, I'll be talking to a friend of mine. I'll be saying the exact same thing.
All our Clutcher Board fans are going to think you're a fraud now.
No. But I think Gaurav has realized that my cricketing knowledge has improved significantly from the last time we spoke about cricket. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gaurav.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 years, you have to be in the thick of things. Your cricket knowledge has obviously gone up.
Yeah.
I am Rohit in football, so it's okay. Like what Rohit is in cricket is I am in football. So when we do a Liverpool, after Liverpool finishes like 4th or 5th or maybe 7th in the season, maybe relegated, then we can talk.
Nice. I like the sliding there.
You're an Arsenal fan, no, Gaurav? No
wonder.
wonder.
It's time to ask. It's a good time to ask you a question.
No wonder he's being so cocky. Because when we were in South Africa last season, okay, I'll go to him. I was like, bro, how's it going, bro? Because I'll be watching all the games, right? He'll just avoid me and he'll just go. He'll never even say a word to me. Now he's like, oh, fourth or fifth. Thanks, Gaurav. I appreciate it, Gaurav. I like the
He's,
attitude change.
he's having his moment. But
Yeah.
a couple of other quick predictions I want. Highest run scorer and highest wicket taker, you think?
You guys go first. I'll think.
Um, I'll go for highest run scorer. I'm going for Harry Brook.
Nice.
I'm going Joe Root. I think it's going to be his series.
Yeah, I think I'm also going for Joe Root.
Yeah, he's quietly gone under the radar a little bit. Not many people. I mean, of course, the speak about him getting his first 100 is there, but kind of going under the radar. And what about highest wicket taker?
I think I'm going to back my gut and say Atkinson.
I'm going to say Nathan Lyon.
Nice.
I would say Jofra Archer, but I'm just not sure he's going to play every test match. So let's say, I think maybe Mitchell Stark.
Nice.
Mitchell Stark.
I think it would be Stark or Lyon. I think Lyon most probably because he's sure to play fighters. None
Yeah,
of
he's gonna be all
none of
five.
the other guys I don't think are sure of fighters.
Yeah, Stark will play 5, right? Most likely.
You never know.
Yeah, if Boland's in form and you have to play Hazelwood and Cummins, then yeah, maybe Stark has to make way. Hopefully, we
But
get an
then they-
exciting first over also like last time.
But then
Yeah.
I think they need a left arm pacer there. So I think Stark might just play all 5.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And they've got the breaks also in between. But Gaurav, any last word you want to add on this Ashes?
No, so far, hopefully it's a good series. Like I said, the rivalry is hyped so much. Hopefully it's
Yeah.
as good as the India-England series. I think that was very good. All 25 days we had Test cricket. Hopefully we see 25 days of Test cricket. And
Yeah.
maybe we should do one pod in the middle of the series and see
Yeah,
where we stand
absolutely.
with our predictions and laugh at our predictions when England are 2-0 up or 3-0 up.
But one last quick one regarding the banter on the series. Do you expect some sort of needle like after the Bairstow and Carey incident? Do you expect something like that to happen?
Did you guys see today's press conference of Smith roasting Monty Panessa? I think that was amazing, and I think if anything to go by that series, if it's like that, it's going to be super fun. But I'm sure things will come up. There's no
Yeah.
Australia-England series without any kind of banter.
Yeah, and we have Manas, so I know Manas will always bring that banter on the field.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's been episode 16 of the Clutch Report. Karak, anything you want to add? Any final words?
No, I think it was absolute pleasure having Gaurav here. And obviously things I've been ChatGPTing my way through, but
I don't think I'm
yeah.
sure.
But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, and such a nice time talking to you, G. Obviously, we've been doing this for the last 3 years, but it's nice to see us having a beautiful conversation about the Ashes, and I just hope England win, because when Australia lose, I'd love to see your face, Gaurav.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully by that time we know what Liverpool's position is. So
Currently 8th, below Manchester United.
yeah, it's
but
going to
yeah,
remain like that.
looking
Until then.
forward to tomorrow. I think everybody's going to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So it should be an
No
exciting
point, Shiv,
series.
because the game starts at 8.
Oh my God. Ah. Oh God.
We can't
Yeah,
go
it's
in the
not the
quad,
Gabba
okay?
anymore. It's Perth.
Yeah, 7:45 the game starts.
7:50 the game starts, and the Gabba is also day-night test. So I think till the third test, I don't think you need to wake up early.
Oh, okay. Even better. Even better. So yeah, everybody will be up at 7:30 in the morning tomorrow. And yeah, that's been episode 16 of the Clutch Report. Please like, share, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.